Welcome back to Brainwaves Unplugged, where we keep all topics unhinged. I'm your host Keith, and today we're blessed to have Ngcebo Mamba in the building. Welcome, Ngcebo.
Nice to be here again, Keith. Nice to meet you.
That's nice. Ngcebo is a law and business student at Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology. He's passionate about Africa's transformation, strong advocate for African unity across cultures, religions, and languages, and also has experience interning in business in the High Court of Rhodesia.
Nah, so much about me. Yes.
So much.
Things are true. Yes,
those things are very true. Yeah. But of course, that's an introduction. Can you give us your introduction?
My introduction.
Who you are? Yes.
What can I say that you haven't said already? But okay. Yes, I am from Swaziland, but I'm a very humble person. Although my introduction might seem a bit enormous or it might seem intimidating, but I'm just a humble boy who got a scholarship at Kids University one day. Actually, my mom had saw the scholarship on Facebook on one random occasion. You know how moms are on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then she said I should apply for this thing. And I had done bad on my reports, on my high school report, so I wasn't gonna get it. I wasn't going anywhere. So I then decided just to get this. And then everything is history. What you just said right now. I came here, I worked hard, I got these internships, and I've been working hard, I've been doing researches, and I think I'm in a very comfortable position in life, and I hope the future's bright. I'm always optimistic, and I believe in just growing, like how you guys are growing over here with this podcast and everything. So that's why I came here today, because I want to grow as a person, and I believe this is going somewhere like we all are. I hope that sums it all up.
Yeah. I think that's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Thank you.
Okay, allow me to start. First of all, guys, if you look today, I'm in my African. I'm looking nice because he advocates for Africa.
Now I'm here looking like a white person. I'm here with the serious. I also have an African shirt. I would have worn it.
But of course, I do know that at Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, if you're doing law, you're required to be informal.
Oh yeah.
It's
always formal. Yeah. This is actually my school uniform. We wear this. If you're a law student, you probably recognize the fit. Yeah. So I thought I should represent the law school. So
I like that. I like that. Okay, fine. So allow me to start our conversation on this note. Is a first world Africa possible?
I think it's possible. I think every vision or everything that is real, it starts with like a vision. And if we have that vision as young people, actually Africa, we have that youth advantage. Most countries right now, their youth is dying out. So I feel like as a youth, we have that potential to create something. And I feel like that's what we have. As much as I feel like the way we see Africa today is based on what we've seen in the past. And I feel like the past shouldn't define our future. I feel like every young person has this dream. Everyone has a dream. For sure, you want to do something with your life. He wants to do something big. Everyone here wants to do something big. And I feel like it's this doing of something big. If we unite it into one consciousness, it can become this first world Africa. If we believe in it and we work together. As long as you don't get derailed from your career, you don't let anything, like you don't end up settling for a job that you don't want. As long as everyone is given that fair opportunity to do what they want to the fullest, I believe in that. I believe in a first world Africa.
If you believe in it.
Yeah. If we unite and we work towards it, I believe that our united consciousness, our vision, if we just put it together, everyone can have that ability to do the work to its fullest, and we can reach that goal.
That's I think. Okay. Yes. So okay, fine. So it's possible for us to reach the goal.
Yes.
My question then is, does Africa suffer from a leadership problem, or it suffers more from a mindset problem?
That's a very hard. Leadership is important to a certain extent, but I feel like if there's a leadership problem, then I feel like we shouldn't. Let's say there is a problem with leadership. Then that's not 100% of the problem. Let's say the leadership problem is 30%. Then we have to take the blame at some extent. At some point, we have to take up the tools and work ourselves. As much as there can be a leadership problem, we also have some role to play, and we can actually do something. And if we tolerate the conditions, we can make better conditions for those who are going to come. So if I'm, let's say there's a leadership problem, the conditions aren't suitable for me to do what I want. I have to create a condition so my child can be in that condition where he can do something. So if there is a leadership problem, we have to take accountability at some point. So yes, there is a leadership problem, but that leadership problem shouldn't define us. We should also have some input into doing something, if that makes sense.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Not only that, we've sat down together before. We've had a conversation before. I remember you once gave me your thought on that. No, you and I have sat down before, and when we did sit down, I remember what you said. You said, what did you say? You said leaders come from the people.
Yes.
I remember
that word exactly. That as like we vote a leader to become, we vote like, from the people. We vote a leader to represent us.
Yeah.
So a leader is not. He's not the boss of us. He is representing. He's a trustee. You know what a trustee is? A trustee takes care of something for the people. So he reflects our goals and what we want at the end in mind. I have this saying that believe in the end in mind. So who we vote is it reflects our thinking as the people. So let's say if there's a bad leadership, it's meaning that we as the people were putting bad people in that leadership position. Maybe it's because I said it back then. I had every season I'm thinking of different things. Every week I have this different way of looking at things. So yeah, at that time I was thinking in that. I was in a higher state of thinking.
It's like you know what I mean?
That is for me too.
It's spiritual. It's not just you, man. Let's start talking.
It comes from nowhere.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay.
But not only that. Okay, so Ngcebo, I know that there's this word that I really enjoy. You know, you talk about Africa's collective consciousness.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm like, bro, like, what are you trying to talk about? What are you talking about?
I feel like everyone has if you look at all these other races of people, they all have a collective consciousness. They all have an understanding. They all have institutions. I feel like before you can manifest something into being, like you know when in the Bible it's written that God he breathed life into like the sand or the clay and then became human. So I feel like before something can be manifested, in the beginning was the word was with God. There must be a word. It must come from some sort of consciousness, some sort of vision. So I believe that before we can breathe life into this first world, like before it can become something real, we have to have that mentality behind it. Before we can make these institutions, we have to have something we refer to that this is what we're trying to do. Like you have to have rules before you can actually run a business or anything. So you can refer to those rules that okay, we wanted this, so therefore, in order for it to go this way, we have to do this. So when we're doing some work, we do whatever it takes in order to follow that. The consciousness controls the body. So if we want the body to do something, we look at the consciousness and then we work with the body. If that makes sense.
Yes. I've never heard. You know, like when you're in a conversation with someone who kind of, because usually I'm the one who controls conversation. So the conversation, I'm following. You know, I'm like in a lecture. I'm in a lecture.
No.
And I'm listening.
I'm also just
I am enjoying. Yes. Plus, your guest. I want you to just give as much as you have. So I really love your answers.
Okay.
They really bring out a lot.
But I just want to add one more thing. I feel like the problem with us now as Africans, especially us as a youth, we're more attracted to this capitalist way of thinking that there has to be instant gratification. Whereas we're not used to the fact that maybe we have to work for something and then we may not even reap the benefits of it, but the people in the future will. You have to. That's the real satisfaction of life, to do something that the future will benefit from. Is Mahatma Gandhi enjoying the free India right now? Is Nelson Mandela? Maybe he was president for a while, but is he enjoying the freedom? Was he enjoying he got old? But in his youth, was he enjoying the freedom? No, because they had that vision. So we also have to have that vision. We may be enjoying something right now, and there's something we want. We want this first world Africa. We may not enjoy us, but we can put that platform where the future generation can do something, and then we leave them with something that this is what we wanted. This is why we did this. This is why we worked hard. Then the future generation will be like, you know what? Let's build on this thing. They'll refer to that consciousness. So yeah, it's not all about money, it's not all about having fun, you know, this groove culture, this party culture that we made, that's just advertising. These things come and go. As you get old, you'll regret all these things.
You'll just,
exactly. You should live your life in a way where you can look back and say, you know what, I did something. Because I feel like the biggest lie we've been told as Africans is that your voice doesn't matter, that you can't do anything, that you have to follow the trends, whatever's happening. But I feel like one person can do something big. If one person can be president and control all these things, then I believe anyone can do anything. If you really work hard and you really just put that amount of course you have to be realistic at some point. But me, I'm a security guard's child. My dad was a security guard and he barely could afford this primary school, and here I am with kids in India. Hundreds and thousands of African Swazis who have money, they're back in Swaziland but I got through hard work here. So I believe I have to do justice for my father. I have to do justice for the people who worked hard to get me here and just spread my message. Because if I come here now and I just eat money, I'm not doing justice for them.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But that's actually, guys. So that's actually the reason why we brought Ngcebo here, because he has a voice. You have a voice that it needs to be heard.
I really want to speak for the people. Like I want to speak and just, I don't know, I want to heal people. Like I always, if you know me, if I'm your friend, I always come when you're in need. I'm not there when you're having fun and everything. But when I see that there's something wrong with you, I always try and talk to you and say, hey, this is not good. You should probably do this. I always like healing people. I feel like that's something God put in me. I don't understand what it is, but I'm just gonna try and use it at every turn where I can. So I feel like law is an appropriate. I feel like law actually improved that thing in me. Because the more you understand how something functions, how the government functions and everything, you can speak on certain issues much more clearer.
That's true.
I don't want to deviate from you. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
Now, of course, we've talked about the fact that you've worked in India. You've actually worked in the High Court. So obviously I know you have had some sort of international relations in India. So my question is what lessons have you gotten from India?
Before we get to the High Court, I was actually doing, I wouldn't say little internships, but I was actually doing internships at a grassroots level. There's an organization called Bakul. They work with children from the slums, and they work with underdeveloped people. So before I got to the High Court, let's not just jump straight to the High Court, but before that, I feel like the most important NGOs were the ones that made me see the real social problems, that made me see real life. I was helping kids read English, and after that internship, I was also doing some online work, and there was so much work. So, but I feel like the one that touched me the most was the NGO one, where I was just working with children, teaching them how to read. How every day I used to clean the reading rooms and everything. So I feel like as much as the High Court was important, it exposed me internationally, and I got to meet High Court judges, and I think I'm known at the High Court by now. Because
that one who talks too much. This guy who talks too much.
I actually used to take notes at the High Court of the cases, even though I used to speak Oriya sometimes. I've noticed that Indians pride themselves with speaking their home language, which is okay, But sometimes I just wanted to understand how the High Court works, and what I understood from it is the High Court is like a family, and it kind of made me. It built on this understanding that in order to make something happen, you have to make an institution. And when you make an institution, you then work together and how can I explain this? In order to preserve the law, I feel like the High Court is an institution within itself. The lawyer is an institution, and they come together and they reinforce the law. So I feel like if the government were to do something, the lawyers can come together. So it kind of ties back to us as Africans. Exactly. We have to come together. If you see all of us here, we're not really. We might see each other and say, hey, but we're not really tied together. That's true. So I feel like it reinforced that thinking that we all have to come together somehow and have an understanding. But that's very hard to implement. But as long as we keep talking about it, I believe it's going to catch on.
Eventually. That's true. Okay, fine. Then another issue as well that I know that you are always talking about. You like talking about stereotypes.
So you actually
let me phrase it the way you phrased it. Breaking stereotypes and shaping a new African narrative. So firstly, I would love you. Could you just give a definition of what a stereotype is?
Stereotypes are basically ideals or certain characters that are related to a certain person from a certain race. You might say that black people, they like to rap, they're into that urbanized culture or things like that. Or you might say Indians they like eating, spices too much, something like that. So it's something that you take an individual and you band them together with these characteristics that are said to be known to these type of people. So I can't be unique. I have to be a black person in that person who has the stereotype. I'm not Ngcebo Mamba. I'm a black person and I have these characters. Just from meeting me, he doesn't. Yeah, that's a stereotype for me.
So what stereotypes do Africans have naturally from
The thing is, he's saying them.
saying them. It's a dangerous space. Maybe let's divert.
But we just say a bit. We have to talk about it. The most basic stereotype is that Africans are poor. Because like Africa is a poor country, that we don't have water. I admit we do have those problems in certain parts, but there are urbanized places in Africa. There are good institutions, good places like opportunities in Africa. And there's also that stereotype that there's no opportunity in Africa. Everyone wants to go overseas. You see what Trump is doing at the tariffs and you want to go overseas. But I feel like we have to make a stereotype. I know I'm saying breaking stereotypes, but we have to make new stereotypes to replace these bad ones. And we have to make places in Africa where it can be all about working towards building a future. Instead of because these stereotypes, they're hurting us. These stereotypes, there's no opportunities back in my home country and all that. Whereas we can open up doors. Like, we have to look, what's the problem? We have to look at, like, once you observe something, this is a scientific thing, that once you observe something, you then can change it. But if you just, let's say this phone, I'm not looking at it and I say this phone is bad. I've never seen it, so my imagination is gonna think this phone is a monster. But once I observe the phone and see that, okay, it's just a phone, and I observe it, I see how it works, then once you observe something, you remove that illusion around it. So I feel like we have to observe Africa and see what's the problem with Swaziland, what's the problem with Zimbabwe, and we see through the illusion and we fix it. So to break those stereotypes.
Yeah. All right. So there's something that is not here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I want to talk about it. I've personally, when you look at big companies, especially like companies like Nvidia, they're worth trillions of dollars. Then you look at countries, different countries. Let me look at a country like DRC, for example. The mineral deposit in DRC could be valued at more than 230 trillion, right? Mineral deposit alone.
I know, yeah.
But when we are valuing it today, the value of DRC today is far less. I think it's in the billions. Because obviously when we're calculating, we calculate based on GDP. So the value of that country, according to the GDP status, is in the billions. So Nvidia, Tesla, some of these companies, the big companies, are worth more.
Okay,
are worth more than these countries. Do you think that the resource base in Africa, people don't actually give heed, or people are not conscious of the resource base of Africa? Or you think Africans themselves are not the ones actually bringing this to light? I don't know.
The thing is, as I've mentioned, stereotypes. Let's say I'm a person, I'm new in Africa and I come. And then I'm like, hey guys, why is this thing being undervalued? And then I see people already, they're like, no, this has always been like this. And then I'll also, to survive in that environment, I'll also
accept.
Exactly, I'll accept. And let's say I grow and I have a position of power, I'll be making money from this. So if someone tries to make a change, you're threatening my income. Now you wanna, how can I say this? You wanna point out the operations we're doing or undervaluing this. So you find that there are already people in these. That's why I'm saying that we have to create institutions that are transparent. We have to observe it. But right now, like the way you imagine it, you imagine Africa to be a certain way. But I feel like we have to make institutions that are transparent, that can actually observe what the real problem is. And we know what the real problem is. But now it's the implementation aspect of it. We have to be brave enough as Africans to implement some of these things. Because right now, when reality hits you, you then have to see that you might have to conform. Like you'll be alone there, standing up for something, and you have a family to feed. There's real life. So I feel like we have to create institutions that actually support people to stand up for themselves. Yeah.
I respect that. Okay, so this has been a very long conversation. I think this has been a very interesting conversation. But before we wrap it up, what do you do for fun? Like what do you do?
What do I do for fun?
Entertainment,
These days, like I've been doing many things these days, but I usually write poetry. I'm into languages. I do sing a bit. I used to rap, but that was a phase. That phase.
Oh, everyone is in that phase. Where you like everything?
The microphone and everything. But right now I want to find a way to like, how can I touch the world? How can I change the world in my own unique way?
Okay.
So I can't really fix that. You should never identify something when you're trying to grow, because growth is very flexible. When the sun is there, the plant will curve and go towards the sun. So I can't really put a stamp on what I'm doing right now with my life. But I know that I'm destined for something great.
Okay, if we're taught to have a last meal before you died,
Hmm.
before you left your body, right?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Hey,
What would that be? Yeah.
It would be anything my mom cooks.
Oh.
Anything my mom. It's beyond food now. It's beyond the taste buds. It's about childhood. It's about memories. It's deeper than just food now.
I used to laugh because when your mother puts too much salt in the meal,
Yeah.
for some reason it's still
nice.
It's still nice.
Anything she cooks, she puts love in
If
it.
someone just puts the same amount,
Yeah. Complain. Send it back.
But Ngcebo, it's been I've
It's been
enjoyed
great.
listening to you. I think I've learned a lot as well.
Yeah.
I've been motivated. You've motivated me.
You also motivate me.
I also hope that
sometimes.
there are people who also have been motivated by all that you've said.
Yeah.
I know that we have an audience, a very broad audience, with people in India themselves watching,
Yeah,
with people
watching.
in South Africa, with people in the UK,
Yeah.
with people all over. So, guys, this is Ngcebo. He's a youth. He's fighting for Africa. I think
We're all fighting for Africa,
We're
not
all-
just me. We're a consciousness, we're one. A consciousness is
so
one.
if you ever see him anywhere, just this is him. If you see him somewhere, know that he was here first. Of course, we're also going to drop his LinkedIn. We're also going to drop his
Instagram,
socials,
whatever.
for sure. Now, Mr. Ngcebo, thank you very much.
It was nice. It was nice being here today.
All right.